Guys, what's happening? This is Toasty, and I'm bringing you guys a UU match on the PO server. And you guys might be wondering, Toasty, why are you playing not PU, on the PO server? Well, it was for practicing for the World Cup because I thought I was going to be playing the UU tier, and I was kind of, practicing around, and it was with a bunch of French people, so the whole time we were talking French. It was a lot of fun, and it ended up being a pretty close battle, and it was very, very, very long, and I hope you guys enjoy. But that is not what I want to talk to you about. For my 250 subs special, I am going to do Q&A. That is right, questions and answers. So bring them on, bitches. I will answer them as truthfully as possible. So I think I'm going to do like 50 questions because 100's a lot. So yeah, let's get on with the match. I'm going to lead off with my Hitmontop. So I want to lead off with Hitmontop to get the intimidation, the attack drop, so he'd be forced to switch out, and he switches out to Mew. And I'm not quite sure what kind of Mew this is. I see more of the swords dancing kind, so I switch into Gligar. And I set up my Stealth Rocks to get some residual damage, and I'm a little bit scared, so I switch into Shaman, which is my special defensive, wall sort of thing. And it hits me with the flamethrower. I'm like, whoa, Nelly, that's a little bit painful. So here he goes for a Side Shock, which is going to do a decent chunk of damage to Suicune. It's going to be a 3-hit KO from here, but I'm going to roar him out. Don't want him to stay in with all those nasty plot boosts. I guess it's only one, but still, me with nasty plot is mean. But I'm going to stay in because, why not? I'm not going to switch out. Definitely, since my Suicune is my defensive wall and it's their Manatan, what's it going to do to me? So I go for the rest, and he switches out to Roselia. Now, Roselia, I have troubles in the small gun tier with Roserade, and I have problems here with Roselia. I don't know why, it's annoying. It's very annoying. But here I'm going to go for another Sleep Talk, and I'm hoping to get some kind of, burn hacks or something to force him to switch out, but unfortunately I don't. I get a crit, though. That's not too bad, but, you'd like a little bit better. But I'm going to wake up, going to roar him out, don't want that thing in here anymore, and it switches out into Darmanitan again. And I'm not really scared of Darmanitan at all. Why is it glitched up a bit on my screen? But I'm gonna go for the safe Scald. I'm not gonna do anything crazy, and I only have Scald. That's my only attacking move. So carry Scald, Rest, Sleep Talk, Roar, kind of like a phasing Suicune. I could have run more of a Croakune, but I am very paranoid of things setting up on me. There's been so many times things just set up all over my face, and it's been bad life choices. But anyways, Darmanitan is down. He's kind of a big threat, and not really, but I'm switching to Hitmontop, so I'm going to be able to rapid spin these, what are they called? Spikes away. I cannot talk today. Jeez Louise, maybe I should have just narrated this in French. But he's going to go for the Giga Drain, not going to do very much to Hitmontop, not really scared at this point, but rapid spinning away those spikes will be very beneficial for my team. My team doesn't really like the spikes at all, but here I'm going to switch into Victini. And I know I'm going to be out to outspeed him because this is definitely a choice scarf. Victini, I love Victini. It's so much fun to use. And I'm going to go for a safe V-Crate, just want to take out that Mew. But of course, what is it called? Rhyperior is going to take that like a boss because Rhyperior has really good defense and also it's a, rock ground. It's got that little dance going on, if you know what I mean. But Suicune's going to be able to take on whatever this Rhyperior wants to throw out at me. But I see he's just going to set up Stealth Rocks right now, and he's going to switch out into his Roselia. And I'm like, Roselia, why won't you die? And I'm thinking at this point, I'm going to be able to kill it off fairly soon. So I'm going to switch into Shaman just to kind of see what it's going to do, if it's going to go for another Giga Drain. But it shows me as a Rests. Rests? That's not plural, Rest. So, which means it's going to be able to switch out, going to be able to get the be able to cure off his sleep with natural cure. But I went for the Leech Seed because I was figuring he was going to switch out since he is asleep. Why would you stay in? But unfortunately for me, he does stay in. Like I guess a smart cookie, I suppose you could say. But I'm going to go for a U-turn. I knew he was going to switch out into something, and I kind of wanted to get the switch initiative. So I go into my Hitmontop, and I'll be able to rapid spin these rocks away and get the intimidation drop on this stupid Rhyperior. And he's going to switch out into Mew, which is a good play on his part. He can Psycho Shock me and set up nasty plots on me all day. I won't be able to do much on him. And I do run the Sucker Punch on Hitmontop, but I'm not going to take that risk. I want to save him for later until, I know that Rapier's dead and the Roselia's dead. But I switched into Raikou. Raikou is a sub Calm Mind set, and I really love this Raikou. So I was figuring I could set up some Calm Minds while he's just gonna try to attack me, but instead he chooses to go for the Nasty Plot, and that's a little bit scary. Usually if I'm running just an offensive Raikou, I would have run what is it called? Shadow Ball, but since this is a sub Calm Mind, he's gonna be able to take me out, and I won't be able to take him out with a Thunderbolt. And that's unfortunate, but that's what happens in life. Life likes to screw you over. But he switches into Blastoise, and obviously he's going to try to Rapid Spin his rocks away on the next turn, because why would he want to stay in and keep those rocks in? But no, he actually opts to switch into Roselia, which is a very nice play on his part as I go for the Seed Flare, and you would be able to take out the Blastoise or take it down to low enough health where I'd be able to take it out with an Earth Power or something like that. But he switches into Roselia, and he gets a crit on his Sludge Bomb, which is not very fun. And Shaman does not like Sludge Bombs at all, so I'm going to switch out into Suicune. And a little bit ballsy on my part, I must say, because he could have just easily predicted me to do that and gone for the Giga Drain. Then he would have been at full health, and Suicune would have been a dead man. But I do get the burn at this point, and I am actually be able to survive that Giga Drain. I thought that would take me out, but this is more of a especially defensive Roselia. And here he's gonna go for another Giga Drain, and I'm gonna be able to scare him out once again with Victini, because what Roselia wants to take a V-Crate to the face. Yeah, that's right, none of them do. And I'm gonna go for a Zen Headbutt. I knew he was gonna switch into Rhyperior at this point. I was getting kind of an idea of his playstyle, but Zen Headbutt is gonna do shit to this Rhyperior. So I'm gonna switch out into Gligar, be able to resist. Actually, not resist that. Completely avoid Earthquake, since Gligar's got, he's got swag. He's flying up, and I need to stop narrating like a dirt. I'm gonna hit that thing with a Toxic, and that's really nice. Blastoise with Toxic is always really nice because obviously it doesn't have a very reliable form of recovery. Jesus, I cannot talk. And I'm able to take that Ice Beam rather well. If it was Stab Ice Beam, Shaman probably would have been a goner at that point. But since Blastoise doesn't really carry that ice typing, Shaman's going to be able to carry that. And I'm saying a lot. I guess this is my catchphrase for today. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Alright, Victini comes in again, takes the Giga Drain. Victini is getting worn down at this point. What I usually like to do is try to set up Leech Seed on Shaman and all that shenanigans. But no, he's going to predict me, just go for a U-turn, and be able to take out my Shaman, which is rather unfortunate because Shaman is a poke that is able to wall a lot of people's teams rather easily. Here I'm going to stay in and go for a CC and my special defense drop, but he's going to go for a rest, and at this point I'm sitting here rubbing my temples going, Jesus Christ, why won't you die for the love of Poseidon, please? But here he has Roselia doing its little shenanigans, and he's gonna predict me going for the V-Create. But instead I just go for another U-turn. I figured he was gonna predict me, so I predicted his predict and went to Gligar, which is the safest option at this point. And I'm gonna set up my Stealth Rocks again, because for some reason I thought I had my Stealth Rocks spun away by the Blastoise. So that was dirt move number 1 of the match. I must say that was not a good life choice, but I'm going to go for another Earthquake. Earthquake's not going to do really much to Blastoise, but most of the Blastoise I see running around these days are defensive. But I'm going to switch into Hitmontop. It's going to be able to take whatever this, what is it called? Blastoise is going to take, whatever this Blastoise wants to, throw at me, I'll be able to take. But unfortunately, I get the burn, so Hitmontop is kind of a dead man at this point, which is really unfortunate because he still has both of his spikers and his, well, not both of his spikers, he only has one. What am I trying to say? His spiker and his Stealth Rocker. But I'm going to U-turn Victini, switch into Suicune, and it's going to be good life choices from here because I'm not going to play like a derp anymore. And hello Teacup, I just hit you. And Roselia is going to come in, and at this point, Roselia is the bane of my existence. I want this thing gone. I want this thing dead. I just don't want this thing existing at all. But here, I'm just going to go straight for the V-Create. I knew you thought I was going to go for a U-turn, and I was like, nuh-uh. I'm going to take you out, motherfucker. So I was really happy at this point. I think I actually, in the chat, was just like, yeah, whoa, go me. And I think I just screamed into the mic. Sorry, but I'm just going to go for another V-Create. So at this point, if I try to switch into a move, Victini, it's going to be a dead man. And here, he switches into Crocodile. I actually said that right. Usually I try to pronounce it like the French way. But he's gonna go for the crunch. He gets a crit, and I was really fortunate enough because if he would have gotten the not spit F drop, the dev drop, that doesn't even sound right, the defensive drop with the crunch, Gligar wouldn't have been able to wall this thing as nicely, but I'm going to throw a nice little Toxic in there, try to wear it out. I'm going to Toxic Toxic stall him at this point, and as you guys can see, my English is lacking today. Woo, go English! And I just talked to someone for like 2 hours in English, and my English still fails. But I figured he was going to go for the Nasty Plot at this point, and I do predict that rather nicely if I do say so myself. And I'm just going to go for another V-Crave. I must say, Choice Scarf Victini is a beast. And Victini in the sun is just like, oh my gosh, it's like the gods are coming down and killing people and end of world. Yep. Alright, it's like Ragnarok, and it's raining outside. Ooh, cool. It looks all mysterious in here. Anyways, Suicune is going to switch in to this crocodile. See, that's how I pronounce it usually. I try to pronounce it like French, but I'm going to get the rest off. It's really fortunate because, like I said, if he got a crit or if he got the defensive drop with the crunch, Suicune wouldn't have been able to wall it, just like Gligar wouldn't have been able to wall it. But I'm going to go for a Sleep Talk, and I'm going to be able to take it out with a nice little skull, just to throw it out there. And that was a really good game. Thank you, ZNV. Ou peut-être je dois dire Z V. And well, they're throwing out the French there. But if you guys like this battle, give it a thumbs up. I know it was a really long match, and if you guys stayed this long, you guys get a cookie. Woo for cookies! And like, comment, subscribe, add to your favorites, all that good stuff. And yeah, just leave questions below for my Q&A. I'll probably have it up within a week if I get at least 50 questions. If I get more than 50 questions, then I'll answer more than 50 questions. But I'm kind of expecting not to get more than 50. And oh my god, the rain is coming. So I'm going to end this narration right here. Until next time, guys. Peace out.